hardcore music in Hong Kong originated a tumultuous time during the handover in the 1990s. It was one of the first organic music scenes that really took root in the city, and many subgenres shot off from there. You can go to any bar in Hong Kong and they probably have a good story about a hardcore band who's struggling to make it in Hong Kong. And this is part of their story.
Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with this event.
Well, my wife and I have known the victim Feng for quite a while. Especially her band, they play shows together a lot. And so as soon as we heard about the tragedy, we just met up with other friends and said, oh, if there's anything we can do to help, we'll be there. And so we just thought, oh, one connection we have is through music and through bands. So we thought, oh, anytime Love Song needs something, we could help out with it.
Can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the underground kind of music scene here in Hong Kong?
Oh, we've been playing in the local scene probably since we were teenagers, so probably at least 15 years. Yeah.
And as far as the new musicians that have come on the scene, the young kids that are forming bands, do you have any advice that you'd like to give people that are just starting out playing music here?
Just be yourself, really. Make music that you're passionate about, and that's honest, I guess. Don't try to just imitate your heroes. Although I guess it's a good thing to begin with.
Talk a little bit about the major changes and maybe just the last 5 years in the Hong Kong music scene, and in terms of present day, the venues, the number of bands, the networking, what really stands out now that may have really developed in the last few years that wasn't there when you guys started playing music?
I guess one of the big things is sort of like how there used to be big segregation sort of between the locals and the expats and the Guai Tai. There used to be the local scene and the Guai Tai expat scene, and that's that kind of doesn't exist as much anymore, I guess. Yeah, you see a lot of local bands playing with a lot of sort of expat bands, and I guess that's quite a big difference from how it used to be.
The Hong Kong hardcore scene was born out of necessity. The DIY culture, the do-it-yourself. And that's what a lot of the youngsters here in Hong Kong and musicians in general hold and adhere to. Do it yourself or not at all. In Hong Kong, because everything's so expensive, place to play, land to play, and few places to play, you got to do it by yourself.
About kind of what this culture and the scene means, kind of this do-it-yourself culture, and not all these people here tonight came out for a cause, and what this kind of means to the scene and what it really means in Hong Kong in general.
This is probably the first time that the scene kids came together to help someone of their own, one of their own, one of our own. So for the bands, it's very eye-opening, and it's very it's heartwarming to think that there's a lot of politics like any other scene that happens, especially in Hong Kong. So the fact that all the bands got together and it showed up, that was very, very very positive and no bad vibes at all. So that's very
Any
good.
advice for some of the young kids that are just now getting into music and maybe
Just keep playing. I mean, we're no pros or experienced band, so we're in no position to give that kind of advice. But if we could give one, it's just keep playing and stay positive and don't try not to create bad vibes with anybody, any other bands or kids that come to support the show. It doesn't help that you come with a negative attitude.
I guess finally, is there anything that you'd like to say to Hong Kong in general? Anything you would want to change? I mean, right now it's really kind of caught up in this, spend money. I got to look a certain way. But is there anything or any kind of changes that you would like to see?
Yeah. To me, I've always been wondering at why Hong Kong calls itself a world city when in so many ways it really isn't. Like we're from a minority culture. We're all Filipinos. And I guess one positive thing I can say is that all the kids here welcomed us with open arms, considered us a Hong Kong band, even though we're not culturally from Hong Kong. If there's one thing that I hope the Hong Kong government encourages alternative music, and supports it in the long term, even in small bits, not like just completely take it for granted. Even like I said, as a world city, I feel like Hong Kong should be more culturally open-minded. I hope the government definitely encourages that.
I think you find with the internet, people are it's much easier for people to find out about sort of aside from the big rock bands, like slightly smaller sort of niche bands and niche genres and stuff. So you're getting that, and you get you get a more educated population musically, and it's become easier for smaller bands to travel around Hong Kong. So you've got indie bands coming in like Handsome Furs or Red Attack coming in that guys that you wouldn't have never have expected to see 10 years ago coming to Hong Kong. And yeah, definitely that's encouraged a lot of local bands to encourage people to play even more. I mean, when you have that sort of interchange, that's important to really get the local scene going.
Of bands that have come in the last few years that we would never have seen before. But what I noticed, I wasn't here 5 years ago because I went away for 5 years to university, and then when I came back, what I noticed that was a huge change was the increase in experimental bands. I remember the first time I came back, and I went to see a show here actually at the launch, and it was this band Spermatic Chord, and they just had all these crazy percussion people from Ocean Park, the amusement park, that were coming in, and they just pretty much recruited anyone that was coming in, and they just combined all these different noises and everything into one, and that wasn't what would have happened before.
Listen to music with your heart on your eyes. They're adorable. I mean, no one dares to say anything about society because boring stuff, politics, but these bands are actually very, very, very crucial to Hong Kong's cultural development because they're writing history. While some other bands just sing about love songs and shit, they're not writing history. They're writing, people, stuff that people want to listen to. So.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Are there any big milestones that you can see kind of looking back, or any big events, any big shows, any big bands, anything like this that really kind of fundamentally changed either the music scene as a whole, or even smaller, that changed people's perception of how to think about music being made and produced inside of Hong Kong?
I think probably like I think sort of formation of, or not formation, but sort of the development of the hardcore scene in Hong Kong did a lot, because I think that was the first time that I saw that like local kids were sort of looking. I mean, a lot of local kids kind of used to listen to all the shit that was on like MTV, a lot of like new metal bullshit, and there's stuff that's just terrible. And yeah, I guess they weren't necessarily just, it's not that they weren't educated about it, they just didn't really have an outlet to sort of discover new kinds of music.
Whatever you think of the scene, I think the independent sort of DIY approach is still relevant now as ever. People should be doing music because they care about it. Not because they want to make money from it, not because they want to be successful, just because they care. And I mean, see a bit of that here, just the fact that people care about each other.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen the scene change and evolve since you've been playing live music?
We just got older.
Kids are getting younger, bands are getting
looking,
better,
so.
getting more trendier. No, I think the sad thing is it's still a lot of kids follow trends, so you know what's popular. Like now, hardcore is not as popular as it was 5 years ago, so you don't see that many hardcore bands now. But so it's kind of cool tonight to see a lot of the old faces come back. But yeah, sadly, I haven't seen many kids our generation continue music as they've gotten older, just because of jobs, different priorities, just not being interested anymore. So, but the ones that have stuck around, they're doing it because they care, I guess, and still love the music, which is why I think that's the only reason you should be doing music, because you love it, and no other reason really. I mean, I've seen a lot of people give up their dreams or the bands because they have to work, they have to make a living. So I think inevitably in Hong Kong you have to make a living, and you need money. So a lot of people cannot do what they want because of that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true.
But I think kids that grew up in the scene tend to still have they sort of know, they have a different kind of mindset to your average sort of mainstream person. So I think no matter what they do, whether it's in the corporate world, whether it's music, I think they'll still use it with a different kind of mindset. So hopefully 10 years down the line, when kids that kind of grew up through punk rock, through DIY culture, you'll see more of that as they become sort of the leaders of the world, or the leaders of Hong Kong at least.
Just finally, can you explain to us what the DIY culture means to Jan and the scene, and how it shapes?
Okay.
Just means doing it by yourself, from like recording your own band, organizing shows, not so much into finding corporate endorsements and stuff. So
yeah, not trying to look good, not trying to be famous, not trying to get fame, not trying to get fans. I mean, just doing it because you believe in it, and you want to make a difference, and doing it yourself, not relying on money, not relying on support. I mean, support from people, yes, but not relying on like corporate support.